Guys, Benny Bam coming at you strong. Little reaction to AEW. Um, yeah, AEW's had some interesting reactions. Obviously, WrestleMania week, which clearly AEW was watching very closely. Triple H had made some comments on the Pat McAfee show about how you have to be a grinder in the business, especially earlier in your career, and if you're not one of those people, then that's not WWE is not a place for you. And I don't know. I didn't take that as a direct, shot at Will Ospreay, but I think Will Ospreay clearly took it as a direct shot at Will Ospreay. So I'm gonna play what was on the show on Dynamite when Renee was asking Will Ospreay, who came out in his sweats, which I don't know if he's just promoting his sweat line or whatever. Because if not, then he didn't look super professional in the first place. I don't know what's going on at AEW. They've also been obviously, doing some other things that we'll talk about in a second here. But first, let's play some audio here. Obviously, I won't play the video, but I'm just going to play some audio so that we can hear what was said. Hopefully, you can hear that. So Osprey basically comes out and Renee's interviewing him. So hopefully all that got picked up. I don't know if it did or not. But some pretty serious shots taken there, obviously, Triple H, specifically about, as opposed to him grinding, that Triple H got, where he is by grinding on the boss's daughter, which obviously would be Stephanie McMahon, who we obviously just saw open day 2 of WrestleMania after not being on TV in a long time. Yeah, sometimes I wonder because see people like Osprey, he's obviously a relatively younger guy. He's not super young, but he's in his 20s or early 30s or whatever the case may be. And I don't know how much frame of reference he has in this industry or how much of a student of the game of his own industry that he is. But obviously, Triple H was grinding long before he got with Stephanie. He was in a WrestleMania match with the Ultimate Warrior. He was Hunter Hearst Helmsley back then. He had Sable was escorting him to the ring for a while there, and he did a lot of things, and then eventually found the Triple H character, and then with DX and the Attitude Era, and then the Tank thing with the Monday Night Wars and all that, he really elevated. Shawn was out with an injury, he took over DX, and that's really kind of what got him into that point with China and all that, and that was before the Stephanie thing happened, which was an angle that happened later, after all of that had kind of already taken place. Yeah, he says you don't want to mess with an assassin with a machine gun. The cerebral assassin has a sledgehammer, so I don't know that that's a good idea either, even though Triple H has said he's pretty much done in the ring because he has a pacemaker and he doesn't want to pull any of the plugs or anything, which he said on the Pat McAfee show, on the same show that Ospreay is referencing, which he wasn't specifically mentioned by name by Triple H. Triple H just said if you're not a grinder, then WWE is not the right place for you, and I really didn't look at it as a shot at Ospreay. I didn't see it that way, but he's not wrong. I mean, you have to grind, right? That's what this is. And Ospreay mentioned, well, I'm the only guy flying back and forth from UK to WWE or to America every week, and doing that every single time and all that kind of stuff. Well, that's interesting, but unfortunately, you're in a place that doesn't build anyone, so that's why they have to announce matches, is because you guys are all part-time and they don't know how to fill the story in between with vignettes and with good TV production and models and, acting and all the different things that you see WWE building up that can at times be nauseating, but it's necessary to build and complete a story. As far as the actual payoff goes later, you have to have that groundwork done, even if it's not the most interesting groundwork in the world, which not every story is, right? Some of them are kind of nauseating after a while, and you're kind of like, okay, we've seen this and we've seen this, but you have to see that in order for it to go all the way through and to mean something by the end and to put someone over or wherever they're trying to place them, right? And it doesn't always work perfectly, but they constantly put the groundwork in so that they can use that groundwork to pivot if it doesn't work, just like they did with Cody and Roman. They were trying to put in some groundwork. They had already done that for a year, and fans said, no, we want to see that groundwork pay off, as opposed to just inserting someone else, which would have been The Rock in that case. But it ended up working out really good, and maybe we'll see Rock Cody, obviously, as they alluded to on Raw. There's so many things AEW's done over the last week that I just don't understand. Dustin Rhodes facing Samoa Joe for the title, basically kind of stealing shine away from what Cody did against another Samoa named Joe for a title, right? That was a much bigger deal. I don't understand that, because it's basically almost mocking Dustin as opposed to giving him the credit that he actually deserves for a match like that, and everybody knew that he wouldn't win, which makes it even worse, because obviously that wasn't going to happen. They're in the middle of the Samoa Joe reign where they want him to, kind of do that till MJF is back and they have other things happen or whatever. Or Ospreay and Okada get to the point where they're at the world title, or Omega's back, or whatever they're going to do. Nobody knows what they're going to do because there's really no cohesive storytelling involved. That's why they had to go out and release the CM Punk video, which really did nothing but make them look like they don't have anybody backstage that's in management that knows how to handle situations. It makes them look like they don't understand the context of what actually happened. It also makes makes him look even worse. So that if they try to bring him back now, he doesn't look like he can handle any type of altercation, which that wasn't really much of an altercation. It was like a small push. I wouldn't even call it a choke or a punch. People online are trying to make it sound like something else because they want to support AEW, but I mean, I don't know how that even built into the Bucks FTR match, which we know already will be 14 super kicks and 3 rollovers, and then that'll be the match, because that's all it ever is with them. They're a good team, but there's not a lot of variety there. We already know what that match is going to look like, right? So building the CM Punk thing doesn't really help you there. They're trying to clearly either take advantage or react in a petty, immature way to the things that they've seen in WWE, which is just kind of concerning, because where's the creative... Like, why is it so reactionary? Why is your whole show on Dynamite focused on shit that WWE did and that you're responding to? Like, they act like it's WCW and the Monday Night Wars and they're going head-to-head with WWE. No, you're not. You have a TV deal, which is nice. That's the nice part and the similar part to WCW, and it's on the same network, obviously, even though it's a much different time now. And that's great, fantastic. Good wrestling is good, and they do have some good matches in AEW and all that, but you're not at WWE's level. You're not competing with WWE. Like, what is with this stuff? I don't understand Tony Khan's approach to this. So basically demeaning Dustin by and taking shine away from Cody, kind of mocking the main event in WWE by doing that Joe thing. Maybe they're mad that the final boss thing was done by The Rock, but anything The Rock does is going to be better than anything Samoa Joe ever touches. Sorry, that's just a fact. You may like what they're doing with Samoa Joe, but The Rock is The Rock and Samoa Joe is Samoa Joe, and that's just the way that is. I mean, sorry. It's just fantastically the way that it is. That's just a fact. The Rock is on a whole nother level, and The Rock can put that gimmick over in a way that Samoa Joe can never dream of doing. They wish they could do it the way that they, and that's where that jealousy and that resentment and doing things like this comes from. Tony Khan obviously reacting as a fan who's clearly watching every minute of WWE very closely, which is just goes to show you he's not focused on the stuff you should be focused on, which is creative for AEW. He should be focused on how to make AEW good and get eventually to a level like that, right? And he's not focused on that at all. Did he call Scott or somebody or Eric and try to get, somebody that can handle TV production so that he can focus more on other things or whatever the case may be that's holding him back from being able to do a better job? You have all this talent in AEW and you're paying them all this money. Like, why don't you put somebody in there that knows what to do with these people? Like, because you don't. You've proven that over and over and over. I don't blame Sting for retiring because it was kind of like, what else is he going to do, right? Like, there's no pathway for him there, right? They're trying so hard with Edge, and I love Edge. I love Adam Copeland. He's fantastic. Christian's been doing some great work there, but that can only go so far. And Edge is at the end of his career. So it's not going to be, perfect every week. And it's not going to be as entertaining as it was during his peak time in WWE. It's just not there. So they're going to have to figure out some way to do that. And this kind of nonsensical reactionary stuff with the CM Punk video and Will Ospreay saying crap about Triple H, a guy whose jock he probably couldn't hold if he wanted to. And look, I understand that you're having really good matches, but saying you've had some of the best matches of all time might be pushing it a little bit. He's had some pretty good matches. Definitely really good guy in the ring. But saying you had all these greatest of all time matches, is everything that Will Ospreay said in this promo just seems like he is kind of tone deaf to industry history. Like, talking that way about Triple H and saying that he doesn't understand the grind. Like, Triple H isn't wrestling right now, but he was the guy grinding with Cena and all these guys for many, many years, carrying the company that created the opportunity for Tony to be a fan that then created the company that you're in now. And they also helped, like New Japan and other places that Will has obviously had matches. So, like, I don't understand the point in saying something like that. People talk about burning bridges with WWE. I don't know, because I don't know that Ospreay was going to WWE. And I don't know that, honestly, he would want to, because I don't think he would be the main guy in WWE. He wouldn't be featured the way that he is other places, because there's really good wrestlers in WWE, and it takes more than just saying that you're a good wrestler and then going in there and having some good matches. It takes a long build of sustaining, and that's the grind that Triple H was talking about, that he was talking about in general, not specifically targeted at Ospreay. I don't think. I didn't see it that way when Triple H said it. I don't think Ospreay's a big enough name for Triple H to point him out and go, hey, I'm going to talk to you about that. I mean, he's good, and he's a good name, and he's a guy that, they could definitely look at, and you wouldn't blame WWE for doing that, but, he's not as good as AJ Styles. He's not as good as, you could argue maybe he's as good as LA Knight. Maybe he's in that category, right below the top tier guys, but that's only assuming that he went in there and put in the type of work that somebody like LA Knight has done to build himself up to that level, right? Regardless of your in-ring acumen, you have to be able to do those things. And the fact that AEW even released this promo and had this Dynamite like this, with all these reactionary factors from Punk to Ospreay to the Dustin Joe match to all these different things that were all reactionary to what WWE is doing, tells you that WWE has full control of the situation. Like, they are not even worried about AEW, and AEW is so concerned with everything that they're doing. It's so weird to me that they're that concerned about what's going on in other places that has nothing to do with them. You basically gave shine to CM Punk. Drew McIntyre is going to love what this just did, because now he can use this in a promo going, oh, look at your old place now. It's going to be amazing to see what Drew does with this material against CM Punk, especially after the way Punk screwed him again on Monday. So it's going to be interesting to see where they go with that. This gives all kinds of cool material to WWE to use an actual creative as opposed to petty responses that are just, like gutless, childish reactions, which is what AEW's been doing. So I don't know what Tony's doing. He needs to get control or give control to someone that understands how to use it and how to use a roster. This is very concerning to me, and I don't really like what they're doing. Maybe I'm wrong. Put your thoughts, comments, concerns. Obviously, guys, please like and subscribe. But really weird stuff from AEW right now. I don't really understand the point or what the end game of that is. They're far from competing with WWE. So if that's really what they're trying to do, then I think they just don't have an accurate, scope of where they are in the business. There's no self-awareness there. And that's very concerning that that's going on. And then all these reports came out today about how they didn't even like doing any of this stuff, and that it was Tony making people do it. That the Bucks didn't want to do that with the video, and that Ospreay didn't want to come out and say that about Triple H, and that Tony said, "I want you to go out and do that." Right? I don't know if that's true or not, but there have been reports of that today. You can look for yourself and decipher that information for yourself. But that has been out there today as this has been going on in the wake of Dynamite last night. So anyway, leave your thoughts, comments, concerns. Please, please, please subscribe. That's the most important thing. There's a little icon on the bottom if you're on YouTube. It's like the red little face of Benny Bam or whatever. Just hit that and it'll take you straight to a subscribe. So you don't even have to go searching for it. Although it is on the bottom. If you do want to search for it, it's down there. But just hit that little icon and you're done. Cool. Thanks, guys. See you next time.